Operation Titan, Chapter 1, Jupiter. It's the largest planet in the solar system. Its diameter is 142,000 kilometers, which is about 11 times that of the Earth, and 1,300 times its volume. It has a rotational period of about 10 hours. It has 16 satellites and is 750 million kilometers from the Sun. But its enormous attraction attracts and keeps people's ambitions and desires. We zoom in to see Jupiter's third satellite in orbit, Ganymede. On it, Xion is operating a base. It's the 41st ore excavation plant. Confirm. An approaching craft approaching the S point. IFF doesn't recognize if it's a friendly. Another officer chimes in and says, "Launch the interceptors. Level 1 combat status." The approaching unit in question was in fact a gun cannon. The pilot inside ordered his fellow units to disperse Minovsky particles. He then fired rockets from his shoulder-mounted launcher. The rockets rushed towards their targets. From the surface of the moon of Ganymede, explosions you've seen in space. "There you are. Let's dance." He said this as lock-on sensors appeared on the heads-up display of the gun cannon. He then dropped an F-bomb as he opened fire at the Xion forces. A Jim was in space next to him and was also firing at the Xion units. The pilot ordered Gold and Blue team to break off and to attack targets. He then ordered Red and Silver team to attack the Xion forces head-on. A tense battle between fast-moving Xion harassed units of God of the Seas took place with the Jims. On the moon, Ganymede, the Xion base could be seen. At the same time, a team of gun cannons approached the Xion base. The lead pilot wondered aloud if it was in fact their intended target. On the targeting computer, a ravine could be seen. It actually looks a little familiar to me. Target acquisition point 1800. Open fire and pull up immediately. The Gold and Blue team descended and opened fire. Suddenly, at that moment, several beams of energy were seen in space. A gun cannon was hit in the chest and exploded. A teammate screamed out, "Howard!" as that mobile suit was destroyed. Another gun cannon pilot wondered if there was a sniper mobile suit out there able to strike them from such an extreme distance. It was at that moment that his mobile suit was critically damaged as his legs were detonated by an energy blast. All units form a circle and retreat. Watch your surroundings. Bravo 1, this is Red Leader. Code 010 Junkie. The Red Leader continued to say on the comms as another gun cannon unit was destroyed. Allies are under attack from a long-range sniper. Set its reinforcements immediately. On his sensor, he could see that his gun cannon was being locked on. There was a brilliant flash of light as he cried out as his mobile suit was wiped out. At a great distance, an Axis mobile suit resembling a silhouette of a butterfly with long tendrils projecting from its torso with laser beams. It was the Hama. Another gun cannon was destroyed by the Hama as a beam weapon on a wire emerged from hiding behind a small asteroid. A Gyan mobile suit equipped with a beam rifle was closely monitoring the situation, with the pilot commenting, "Haman has clearly grown up after destroying 8 mobile suits in an instant." The Gyan pilot got on the comms and asked, "Haman, are you okay?" The young Newtype pilot responded, "Yes, Captain. I can still fight." "Captain, I'm picking up a new threat from 3 o'clock. The Gyan pilot looked at the sensor and saw a Gundam type. "It's coming." "What?" The Hama and Gyan traded fire with the Gundam unit. As the Gundam approached, he noticed that the Gyan pilot looked rather familiar. He had a scar on his forehead between his eyes. "It's a Gundam. Is it Amuro?" The left arm holding the shield was then destroyed. Haman yelled out at that moment and screamed, "Captain Char!" The Gundam was in fact a Gundam Mark II. It was trailed by a pair of gun cannons. An intense firefight ensued. As the Mark II approached the 2 Axis mobile suits, an escort gun cannon was then destroyed. One of the wire-mounted weapons on the Hama was destroyed as the Mark II got into point-blank range and aimed again at the enemy unit. Haman was stunned at how this Gundam got so close. They both exchanged point-blank shots at each other. Both then sustained heavy damage. The left arm shield of the Mark II was vaporized, and the Hama received a major hit to its torso. Haman was now incensed. How can this happen with just one Gundam unit? Char motioned and told Haman to stop. But why, Captain? Don't get caught up in your emotions, Char responded. Try to avoid close combat with this Gundam. The battle's just starting. We need to withdraw. Roger. Meanwhile, a GEM command unit approached the damaged Mark II. The pilot got on the comms and asked, "The enemy's withdrawing. Why not pursue Sirocco?" Paptimus answered, "For right now, this is good. The battle has begun. I'm not liking this, but I'll take the Gundam back to Jupiterus." So I'm going to sort of reminisce a little bit and model this episode similar to how I used to do Season 1 and talk about the mobile suits that were featured in this manga. This manga came out in 1992 and was first seen in Hobby Japan Gundam Weapons 2. I doubt this is canonical, but I found it interesting to show the first time that Haman, Char, and Sirocco met. There were some units featured in this one-shot manga which I'll feature here. The descriptions of the mobile suits are based on translation of Kondo Kazuhisa-san. The first unit we'll talk about is the UNT Spacing Medium Range Support Mobile Suit, RX-77-3 Gun Cannon. 3 new mobile suits are developed with the launch of Operation V, and this one was considered a medium-range support unit for the Federation. This particular unit was the Gun Cannon, and was a prototype mobile suit for artillery use. It was equipped with large cannons on both shoulders to support the RX-78 Gundam. The core block system was produced without adopting the mass-produced type because this increased the cost. It was not until the end of the One-Year War that it was actually mass-produced. The second unit will be, in fact, the UNT Spacey General Purpose Mobile Suit RGM-79GS GM Command or GEM Command. The GEM continues to be produced even after the end of the One-Year War, and after making some minor changes several times over, it would then eventually become the GEM or GEM 2. The Space GEM Command was developed and produced at the end of the One-Year War, but has been used with an enhanced Babcast since then. This particular GEM had a Mark II backpack. Some types were also equipped with a large machine gun. The next unit we'll talk about is the UNT Spacey Prototype General Purpose Mobile Suit, RX-178 Gundam Mark II. The Earth Federation Forces General Purpose Prototype Mobile Suit Unit was created in 0083. Jonathan Hyman formed the Zeon Remnant Hunting Unit Titans. At the same time, Titans promoted the development of a new General Purpose Mobile Suit in Grips 1. The Gundam Command, or rather Gundam Mark II, was a redesign of the RX-78 Gundam, a famous machine that was operating during the One-Year War. But the potential was not considered to be as high, and only 3 prototypes were rolled out. Actually, it's supposed to be rolled out in 0085 as per Kazuhisa-san, but since development by federal engineers such as Franklin Bedon is around the time of the establishment of Titans, it is a pre-stage Mark II. The unit in this manga is likely a prototype being tested. In Stardust Memory, characters related to Zeta Gundam or the Grips battle such as Haman will appear, but 0083 is also the year when the familiar Titans were formed in Zeta. So I tried to put out a unit that can be called an early version of Mark II in its original story. The next unit that we'll talk about is the Axis Variable Mobile Suit AMX-003 or Gaza C. This unit is an Axis Army mass-produced variable mobile suit. Axis represented some remnants of the former Principality of Zeon, with Mineva, the bereaved child of Vice Admiral Dozozabe, as the General Master and Haman Khan as the Guardian. Its main mobile suit for the Axis fleet was the variable type Gaza series. The C-type was the most mass-produced unit, and its number also See the number of mobile suits owned by both the Titans and eventually the Aeug. Xian Prototype General Purpose Mobile Suit MS-15S Gyan. The Xian Army General Purpose Mobile Suit Prototype Unit, the Gyan, or MS-15, was actually beaten out by the Gelgoog, or MS-14, in the main mobile suit competition in the latter half of the One-Year War. And the Gyan was in fact customized specifically for the purpose for Colonel Mukuve to use. It is believed that there was only one unit that was made, but it seems that there was a unit that existed as part of the prototype stage. This featured Gyan was customized for Char. This type was drawn based on such an assumption. He also tried to make the gun like the Gelgoog's beam rifle. The last unit will be the Neo Xian Prototype Night Use Mobile Suit, or the AMX-103 Hama Hama. This prototype mobile suit was meant for the Knights of the Neo Xian Army, with many thrusters in various parts of the unit to improve performance. Not only mobility was enhanced, but as also firepower as well too. It has a very high potential as it enables an all-range attack by the Psycho system. However, few pilots could match it, and it was never mass-produced. Now these are, of course, Kondo-san's actual words in the manga. Of course, I don't know if the Hama Hama was complete in this age, but it is being introduced as a mobile suit that makes use of Haman's new type potential. So I guess it's fair to say this is a bit of a surprise. By the time you get this episode, the previous episode of the Season 4 wrap-up had dropped yesterday on the 7th of October, which is a Thursday. And I was kind of thinking I'd like to do something a little special. So this is what I think is a one-off in terms of this particular manga by Kazuhisa-san, even though it did say it's Chapter 1. I could not find any subsequent chapters of this battle between Char, Haman, and Paptimus. It was unique for me as it's the first manga that I could find that was set in space around the planet Jupiter. It was made in 1992, before Crossbone Gundam even came out, which came out 2 years later. It does seem to raise some interesting questions, and more questions that were actually answered. My first question was, since Xian had a mining operation in Ganymede, an orbiting moon, what was the particular ore that they were mining? It does not appear to be helium-3, or in terms of elements anyway, that critical element that was needed for Minovsky reactors, since those were acquired from the planet Jupiter itself. Is there a non-aggression pact between this Xian base and the Jupiter Energy Fleet, which is an NGO, that transport the vital fuel source back to the Earth sphere? The Federation of Jupiters were interested in destroying this Neo-Xian base. But to what end? Gun does love to borrow elements from Star Wars. Lightsabers and beam sabers, for example. The Force Newtypes. The planet Hoth and that Scandinavian base seen at the beginning of the revival of Xian manga. This manga is no exception. Early on in this manga, the gun cannons were approaching the enemy Xian base on Ganymede, flying towards a ravine. On the heads-up display, the various targets of the base can be seen. I will provide pictures on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but it does seem highly reminiscent of the trench run during the Battle of Yavin as seen in episode 4 of Star Wars. It did enjoy the introduction of various Axis units that would be seen in Zeta Gundam and Gundam Double Zeta. Although it may not timeline-wise match up with what would be depicted in Char's Limited Affair, it was cool to see Char and Haman as allies. It was also great to see three powerful Newtypes facing off against each other, mirroring what would have happened at the end of Zeta Gundam. I theorized that although this took place during 083, and the various Gundam units made by Anahan and Electronics in Gundam 083 seem overpowered compared to the units seen in early Zeta Gundam, Kondo does posit that the Mark II being made by engineers like Franklin Badon could have happened on Grips if this was an early prototype that somehow is being tested outside the Earth sphere. It does appear that Char is quite triggered in seeing a Gundam unit and automatically assumed that Amuro is there to thwart him again as the White Devil. Please be sure to check out the Twitter page at Gundam Sentinel 2, Instagram at Gundam Sentinel Podcast, or on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Gundam Sentinel Podcast. If you like what you hear, please rate and give a review on whatever means you listen to this podcast, and tell your Gundam loving otaku friend to check it out. Until next time.